Would you live in a house that breathes, that whispers your name at night? A house with a past so dark it refuses to stay silent. Tonight, we step into a home where the walls have stories to tell. And trust me, you won't want to hear them. A car pulls into the driveway of a vintage Victorian house, surrounded by overgrown trees. Emily and Jake thought they'd hit the jackpot. A vintage house for half the price. A fixer-upper, the realtor had called it. But they should have asked why the last owners never stayed long enough to fix it. Emily stepping out of the car, looking up at the house with awe. It's perfect, Jake. Look at those windows. Yeah, perfect for a horror movie. What's next? A creepy old guy warning us to leave? And you know what they say. If it looks too good to be true, it probably wants to eat you. It's late. Emily and Jake are in bed. The house is eerily quiet. Suddenly, a faint whispering sound begins. Jake, do you hear that? Hear what? It's an old house, probably just creaky pipes. The whispers grow slightly louder, almost forming words. Emily's face pale, but these weren't creaky pipes. The sound wasn't random. It was deliberate, like someone or something was trying to be heard. Emily sits up, straining to listen. The next morning, Jake dismisses the sounds, but Emily can't shake the feeling. I'm telling you, it sounded like voices, like whispers coming from the walls. Maybe the walls are gossiping about us. Should we leave them a snack? If your house starts whispering, don't try to make friends with it. Leave immediately. Emily decides to investigate. She presses her ear to the wall and hears faint words. Get out, Jake. It said something. It said, get out. Okay, now you're scaring me. Emily researches the house's history. A montage of her flipping through old newspaper clippings plays. The deeper Emily dug, the darker the house's past became. A string of disappearances, a family tragedy, and one chilling headline, the house that breathes. It seemed no one who lived there ever left unscarred. Emily finds an old journal hidden in the attic. The entries describe the previous owners hearing the same whispers, and worse. And then she found it. The name of the last owner, or rather, their warning scrawled in red ink on the last page. The house is alive. Don't let it feed. That night, the whispers return, louder and clearer. Jake and Emily are both awake now, frozen in fear. Get out before it's too late. Okay, that's not pipes. That's not pipes. The lights flicker. A loud bang echoes through the house. The couple grabs flashlights and ventures into the basement, following the sound. Here's a question for you. What's worse, knowing you're not alone in the house, or realizing you are? Don't worry. I'm sure the basement is totally safe. The basement is dark and filled with old rotting furniture. The whispers are deafening now. They're coming from here, from the walls. They tear away a section of the wall, revealing a hidden room. Inside are strange markings on the walls, like claw marks, and a pile of decayed journals. The journals revealed the truth. The house wasn't haunted. It was hungry. It fed on fear, trapping its victims and keeping their voices as part of itself. Suddenly, the door to the basement slams shut. The whispers now sound like screaming. The walls seem to close in, breathing heavily. Jake and Emily pound on the door, but it won't budge. You can never leave. The sound of heavy breathing continues, followed by Emily's voice whispering, if you hear whispers in the walls, run. Do you think the house let them go? Or are their voices part of the whispers now? Let us know in the comments, if you dare. Imagine moving into your dream home, only to uncover a secret it didn't want you to find. A door that appears on no blueprint, a room that defies reason, and a sinister force that refuses to let you leave. This is the story of a room that doesn't just change, it consumes. Moving boxes are stacked around the living room. Ethan, a young man in his late 20s, wipes sweat off his brow. Who knew owning a house meant a workout with free cardboard furniture? Ethan picks up a small box labeled books and heads toward the hallway. As he passes, The camera lingers on a plain wall with faint scratching sounds coming from it. Ethan pauses. Great. Rats in my dream house? Or is this the part where the house tries to get to know me? He chuckles nervously, but notices a faint outline of a door frame in the wall. Curious, he sets the box down and touches the wall. A hidden panel slides open, revealing an old wooden door with a tarnished brass handle. Okay, either I just found Narnia, or this house was made by someone who really loved escape rooms. Ethan cautiously pushes the door open. The room inside is small and cluttered, filled with dusty objects. A cracked mirror, old toys, faded photographs, and strange childlike drawings covering the walls. At first glance, it seemed harmless, just someone's forgotten junk. But then I started noticing the drawings. A stick figure surrounded by shadowy figures with clawed hands. They were crude, drawn by a child, or so I thought. Each picture felt off, like they weren't just drawings but warnings. Photo of a family, faces scratched out. Ethan shivers and steps back, accidentally knocking over a toy soldier. It clatters loudly, making him jump. Geez, calm down, Ethan. It's just a room, a really creepy room, with some seriously bad vibes. Ethan decides to leave, shutting the door behind him. Cut 2 later that evening. He's in the living room, unpacking. Okay, so hidden room? Check. Creepy drawings? Check. But hey, no poltergeists yet, so we're winning, right? He laughs, but his face falls as he hears faint whispers. His head snaps toward the hallway. The whispers grow louder. Nope, 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 nope. Not doing this at 11 p.m. Ghosts don't pay rent. He grabs a flashlight and reluctantly returns to the hidden room. This time, the contents have changed. The drawings are now darker, with red marks smeared across them, and the objects have been rearranged. The toy soldier Ethan knocked over now faces the door, its head twisted. Wasn't it facing the wall before? Did I move it? The door suddenly slams shut behind him, and the light flickers. Ethan tries to leave but finds the door locked. The whispers grow louder, turning into faint screams. Objects begin shifting on their own. Okay, you can keep your haunted dollhouse. I don't want it. He finally forces the door open and stumbles out, breathing heavily. As he backs away, the camera pans to the door, now slightly ajar, as if taunting him. Would you go back in there? No, seriously. Would you? Because I might need an exorcist or a demolition crew. Over the next few days, Ethan tries to avoid the room, but it doesn't let him. The whispers follow him throughout the house. He starts finding objects from the room in other parts of his home. The toy soldier on his nightstand, a drawing stuck to his fridge, a dusty mirror in his bathroom. It was like the room was bleeding into the rest of the house. No matter how hard I tried to ignore it, it wanted me back. One night, Ethan hears a loud bang. He rushes to the hallway, only to find the hidden door wide open, light spilling out. Against his better judgment, he steps inside again. I just had to know. What was this room hiding? And why did it want me? This time, the room is empty except for one object in the center, a mirror. As Ethan approaches, his reflection doesn't match his movements. Instead, it grins at him. The mirror reflection reaches out, pressing its hand against the glass. Ethan stumbles back, but the room begins pulling him in, objects flying toward the door to block his escape. No, let me go. What are you? What do you want? Leaving only the sound of Ethan's screams and a deep, echoing laugh. What would you do if the only way to survive was to stay inside? Some doors should never be opened. But once you do, you might not be able to close them again. If you enjoy listening to such scary and thrilling ghost stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Whispernight, because we regularly upload such spine-chilling stories here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Everyone says, don't look for trouble. But what if trouble comes knocking and it won't stop? This is the story of how curiosity almost cost me my life, and maybe my soul. The story rewinds to a sunny day as the family moves into their new house. Light, cheerful music plays briefly. It all started like any typical horror story. Cliché, new house, old secrets. My parents were thrilled. I was, well, not. Camera pans over to the teenager, Alex, age 17, rolling their eyes as they carry a box labeled old stuff. Yeah, because nothing screams dream home like peeling wallpaper, creaky floors, and oh, a locked basement door no one can explain. Thick, metal plated, and covered in old padlocks. Probably just an old storm shelter. No big deal. Famous last words. Days pass. Alex unpacks, explores the house, and becomes increasingly curious about the locked basement. Late at night, Alex is lying in bed. The house is silent except for the faint hum of wind outside. Suddenly, a loud bang breaks the silence. It started with a knock, one knock, then another. From below, Alex's wide eyes as they sit up in bed. The knocking becomes rhythmic, almost deliberate. Okay, so either the house is settling, or someone's trying to break out of our basement. Neither is ideal. They grab their phone to record the sound, whispering into the camera. This is it, guys. If I die, tell my mom I loved her casserole. Okay, maybe not that much, but you get it. Knocking intensifies, making the lamp on Alex's desk tremble slightly. The next morning, Alex confronts their parents, but they dismiss the noises as an overactive imagination. Frustrated, Alex talks to an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Whitaker, who reacts with visible fear when the basement is mentioned. That door was locked for a reason, child. Whatever's down there, it doesn't belong in this world anymore. Alex pacing in their room, torn between curiosity and fear. Part of me was like, don't do it. The other part, do it for the TikTok views. But the knocking, it wouldn't stop, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. That night, Alex sneaks to the basement with a crowbar and flashlight. The air feels heavy, shows their shaking hands as they struggle with the locks. Finally, the door creaks open, revealing pitch-black darkness. I expected dust, maybe spiders. What I didn't expect was the smell, like something rotting. Alex shines the flashlight down the stairs, revealing strange markings on the walls. A faint whisper echoes, sending chills down their spine. Why? Did you come? Alex freezes, but then shakes their head, trying to laugh it off. Great. Now I'm being roasted by a ghost. They descend into the basement. The camera follows their steps, heightening suspense. Suddenly, a loud crash startles them as something falls from the ceiling. A human-shaped bundle wrapped in decaying cloth. That's when I realized I made a huge mistake. The bundle starts to twitch. Alex backs away, but the door slams shut behind them, trapping them inside. The flashlight flickers, revealing a shadowy figure standing in the corner. You shouldn't have opened the door. The figure lunges at Alex. The screen goes black with the sound of heavy breathing and frantic footsteps. Okay, you were right. I'll leave. Just please don't. Suddenly, silence. The screen fades back in to show Alex stumbling out of the basement, gasping for air. But something isn't right. Their reflection in a nearby mirror doesn't match their movements. Over the next few days, strange occurrences escalate. Objects move on their own. Distorted whispers fill the house. And Alex starts seeing shadowy figures in mirrors and windows. It wasn't just the basement anymore. Whatever I let out, it was everywhere. Alex tries to tell their parents, but they dismiss it. Desperate, they return to Mrs. Whitaker, who reveals the truth. That thing, it feeds on fear. It will consume you until there's nothing left. Alex barricading the basement door, but the knocking resumes, louder and angrier than ever. I thought I could contain it. I was wrong. Alex is lying in bed, clutching a baseball bat, tries to stay awake. The camera slowly pans to the dark corner of their room, where the shadowy figure begins to emerge. You opened the door? Now you're mine. And that's how I learned. Some doors should stay locked. Imagine moving into your dream home, a sprawling countryside mansion, peaceful, picturesque and alive. What if I told you this house wasn't just a home? It was a trap. You can check in, but you'll never leave. This is the story of one family who tried and barely lived to tell the tale. A family pulling up to the mansion in a moving truck. Bright and cheerful music plays as they unload boxes. The contrast creates tension. The family is introduced: parents, Laura and Mark, and their teenage daughter, Emma. Laura: "This house is so big, we'll need a GPS just to find the bathroom." "Great. I'll get lost trying to find Wi-Fi." They step into the mansion. The camera pans to the grand staircase, faded wallpaper, and an ominous flickering chandelier. The faint sound of footsteps echoes upstairs. It's just the house settling. Right. Night. The family is unpacking. Emma explores the hallway with her flashlight, discovering a locked door with scratch marks on it. Okay, who keeps a creepy locked door in their house? What is this, a horror movie? Suddenly the door creaks open on its own. Emma jumps, her flashlight flickering. The next morning, strange events escalate. Doors lock by themselves, windows won't open, and the family starts feeling watched. Jiggling a locked door handle, it's like the house is trying to keep us in. Maybe it's just old, or maybe it's haunted. Mark's laugh fades as the chandelier starts swinging violently. The lights flicker. Everyone freezes. "Mark, did you pay the electric bill?" Sudden silence. They hear faint whispers. Emma pulls out her phone to record, but the screen glitches, showing distorted faces. Okay, nope. Time to move back to the city. They rush to the front door, only to find it locked. Mark tries the windows, but they're sealed shut. The view outside is no longer the countryside. It's an endless, swirling fog. This isn't possible. The realtor never mentioned anything like this. Yeah, probably left that out of the brochure. Charming countryside mansion comes with ghosts and a side of eternal imprisonment. Emma stares at the hallway as it begins to stretch endlessly. Dad, the house is moving." The hallway walls shift, twisting like a labyrinth. A faint shadow lurks at the end of the corridor. The family finds an old diary in the attic, revealing the mansion's horrifying history. It was built by a man obsessed with immortality, who performed rituals to trap souls inside the house forever. The house feeds on those who enter. The longer they stay, the harder it becomes to leave. Their souls fuel its power. So, we're basically snacks for the house? Don't worry, we'll find a way out. Right, Laura? Laura doesn't answer. She's staring at a photo in the diary of a family who looks exactly like them. Mark. This isn't the first time the house has done this. The family running through the twisting hallways. The house shifts, doors vanish, and shadows chase them. They reach the basement, where they find an altar covered in bones. So do we burn this thing, or I don't know. Call an exorcist? When in doubt, burn it out. As they ignite the altar, the house shakes violently. The fog outside clears momentarily, revealing the front door. They sprint toward it, but the hallway stretches infinitely again. The family fights their way to the door as the house tries to stop them. Shadows grab at them, whispers grow louder, and the floor begins to collapse. "Don't look back, just run." Mark kicks open the door, and they tumble outside, gasping for air. But as they turn around, the mansion is gone, replaced by an empty field. Did we actually make it out? Her phone glitches again, showing the same distorted faces from before. The family's relieved laughter dies down as they hear a familiar sound, the creak of a door behind them. They turn to see the mansion has reappeared, and the front door is wide open. They thought they escaped, but the house never lets go of what it claims. So would you dare step inside a house like this? Or would you burn it down the moment you saw it? Let me know in the comments. And remember, some houses aren't just haunted, they're hungry.